Welcome back as we discuss the final phase of the menstrual cycle, the luteal phase. This is the phase that begins after ovulation and leads up to your next period. This phase is often dreaded and stigmatized because many women experience symptoms like PMS, bloating, mood swings, and fatigue during this phase. But the good news is there are foods that can help. Let's break down what's happening hormonally during this time and how we can support our mental and physical health with the right nutrition. So let's talk about this lovely last phase. When is it?
Well, this is the phase after ovulation, right? So after day 14, again, I'm looking at a 28 cycle for people who
Mhm.
don't have any hormonal imbalances and
Okay.
have a periodic consistent period.
Mm.
So this is when we see that slow moving into a feeling of winter, right? So I like to associate seasons with the phases. This is the
It
time
makes
of,
sense. When I think of
right?
winter, I always think about, yeah, I just want to curl up and be
Right?
cozy. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is the phase where, if people are not pregnant, I'm assuming we're
Right.
going into the phase of the menstruation where we can have the PMS symptoms. And like I said, we're not supposed to. But ovulation was the phase where estrogen was really high. And
Hmm.
now we're reaching a phase where we're going to see a rise of progesterone. And progesterone is that peaceful hormone. And now this is where things are they get tricky for some people who don't detox really well. We want to have the right ratio between estrogen and progesterone, right? And this is the phase where we want to have that balance to be there. And
Right.
if we see mood swings and we start to see more of that, again, the fatigue and the cramps and the bloating and the nausea, headache, migraines, and all
Yeah.
sorts of things, that's when we need to look at what's not working
Mm.
and why is estrogen still not detoxing really well, right?
Yeah.
So there are nutrients that you can support with this phase. This is also where i-
I was
uh,
going to say, I've heard primrose, and I've used primrose myself many times. Is that one of the things that is beneficial during
yeah,
PMS?
Primrose GLA, it really is really supportive. It's fantastic. I also really love Vitex or Chaseberry.
Okay.
And that's also really helpful for increasing that level of progesterone throughout
Mm.
this phase because the thing is, progesterone also rises in this phase, but it's going to drop
Okay.
soon after. But we want it to get to an optimal place. It's also great to work with a practitioner and do a lab, a serum lab test on day 20 to 21 of that cycle so that you can see the level of progesterone actually and to see
Oh,
where you are.
okay.
And that gives you an idea of how you're processing and how you're detoxing, metabolizing that excess estrogen that's like hanging around. And so if that's the case, this is the phase where I would really like to focus on relaxation.
I was going to say, how should our activities change? I mean,
Yeah.
we talked about how you're exercising, lightly at the beginning and then really going for it,
Yeah.
intense exercise in the middle. But at this point, I know myself many times I'm like, I don't even want to exercise.
Yeah, this depends. Again, people are different. I know for me, I like to move around because that's going to help me with relaxation.
Right.
But if I stress myself out with too much work and too many things,
Mm.
that mental stress also signals my adrenals. And
Mm.
then, because I mean, think about hormones, they communicate with one another. We have the HPA axis, that's responsible for our hormonal
Okay.
health. We have our thyroid. We also have
Right.
our adrenals, and that cortisol plays a key role in how stressed we're going to
Yeah,
be.
let's talk about cortisol at this point. We've only got like
Right.
40 seconds, but let's talk about cortisol for a second and its impact in this phase.
Yeah, cortisol is going to spike if we have a lot of stress. That's why
Mm.
relaxation is important. That's why magnesium comes in handy. So if you're going to supplement with a magnesium powder on it,
Mm.
like, before sleep, this is where you're going to prioritize sleep, rest, relaxation so that that cortisol doesn't just skyrocket and like wreak havoc in your whole system. And you're going to struggle with those cramps and excess estrogen because progesterone is going to be used up by
Mm.
cortisol instead of supporting the hormonal balance in the body for women in that phase.
Wow. So much to cover. And we didn't even cover cravings, but thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's all for today's discussion of the menstrual cycle and how we can use food and nutrition to support our bodies through each stage. We hope this episode has given you practical tips to reduce discomfort and optimize your menstrual health. Thanks for joining us on A Healthy Dose, and we'll see you next time.